Welcome to the All Pet Spot Spotlight podcast, where we bring you inspiring conversations with pet care providers, pet business owners, and pet parents about their experiences with allpetspot.com. Join us as we explore heartwarming stories, expert tips, and success tales from our vibrant community. Whether you're seeking advice, looking for inspiration, or just love hearing about pets, this podcast is your gateway to all things All Pet Spot. Tune in to discover how allpetspot.com is making a difference in the lives of pets and their people.
Hey everybody, Bobby Sorton here with All Pet Spot. Just wanted to bring you episode 2, which is two is the second one of All Pet Spot podcast, the Spotlight. So of course I labeled this All Pet Spot Spotlight. So what's really cool about that is I get to interview people such as Shawn here, who's in the pet industry, who does some really cool work that I'm going to show you guys a little bit later when I do a screen share. But Shawn, I want to say thank you for coming on with us. I really do appreciate it. I just launched the site, as you know, April 15th of 2024. So it's brand new. I'm really working on getting it out there to the public. Here we're based in Colorado. You're here in Colorado Springs. I'm in Colorado Springs. So I'm really using this target audience as my guinea pig, so to speak, as I launch this out and get it out there into the public. So I'm really glad that you were able to find it. I just want to touch base with you real quick. And how did you find All Pet Spot? Where did you see it at first?
Yeah, so I appreciate you having me on the podcast. I found them on the Colorado Small Business Facebook page, and I saw it All Pet Spot. So I was like, okay, right there, that will put me in the mix as well. And when I looked at the site, I did see it was kind of a newer type, business, and I didn't know I looked you up on LinkedIn. I was like, okay, I'm always the kind of person who just got to make sure it's safe. You don't want to put your information anywhere, so. I looked you up on LinkedIn. I looked you up on Facebook and Instagram, and tried to find you to see okay, where's the correlation between All Pet Spot and Bobby. And I had my hesitations at first, just because it is a newer business. But after doing some background check and after trying to figure out, making sure that it's like a legit concept and legit business. Once I found it on there, I was like, all right, let's give it a shot.
Cool. Well, I appreciate that, man. That's where you can actually say that social media does well in this industry.
Absolutely.
So that's why I always have all my stuff on LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook, and I'm completely open to the public. I'm born and raised Colorado, so I'm really glad to launch this business in Colorado. My daughter is the one that gave me the idea for the business. So she's a pet sitter in our neighborhood, and we always wanted to make sure everything was safe and secure for her. So we'd always want to meet the people she was going to go pet sit for. So with this concept, I created it where it was primarily for pet sitters, where they can go list their services, but they also have to go through an ID verification and background check. And even the person who's booking their services has to go through that as well, because I'm trying to make it as safe as possible. I just want people to feel, confident that when they're getting on and putting their services and stuff on the site, that it's a secure place. That really helps me out to know that you went out and did a little bit of research. You can see that I'm a real human being. I'm not some scam artist or anything like that. And just trying to build a marketplace that anybody who's in the pet industry can utilize. So tell me a little bit about you and your business and what all that you do. And once we talk about that, then we'll talk about how you went through the whole process of signing up and getting onto the site.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been a photographer and videographer for quite a while, probably plus 10 years. And I've shot models, and I've lived in New York City, I've lived in Ohio, lived in Florida. And I don't know, I've been doing it a long time. I've done food photography, portrait photography, landscape. And when the pandemic hit, obviously we weren't allowed to be in the same room with a lot of people. So me and my family were kind of bunkered down. We left New York during the pandemic, and we drove all the way to my fiance's parents' house, and we stayed with them for a little bit, trying to figure out what we were going to do. And they had dogs, and I had dogs. We had 2 dogs with us, and they had 3 dogs with them. And Christmas was going to be a bit strange that time of year, so I decided to. I was like, you know what? If I can't take pictures of other people outside of my family, I want to take pictures of dogs who are more. My dogs are very, very just chill. They'll sit there. They love treats. They'll do what they have to do. And I just took out my camera, set up a couple of lights, and started taking photos. I took photos of their dogs as well, and I made canvases out of them, and they loved them. And then I was like, you know what? I think I can. I love dogs with a passion, so I know I could try to make this work. So I kind of, it was more of a hobby base. I was kind of taking pictures of friends' dogs, and some people hit me up, and people I met, they're like, oh my God, I love your photos. Can you take my, pictures of my dogs? We'll pay you. And I was like, this is going well so far. And then it wasn't until last year when I just really. I had a remote job of being a video producer, and I started kind of breaking away what I really wanted to do, and that was to take pictures of dogs. Dogs are the essence of life to me. kids are great, children are great, but dogs love you unconditionally, and they're with you every single step of the way. And I feel like, if you could take pictures of puppies or dogs that are, on the verge of their own lifespan, like that right there lasts forever. And I believe when I started Dogs in Frames, my idea is to put pictures, wall art back on the wall. We get stuck into this digital aspect for so long where people show pictures of their dogs on their phone, from up top, or bad lighting. So I wanted to give the opportunity, after seeing a bunch of other dog photographers that I idolized. I was like, you know what? I want to see if I can try to get their dogs on the wall, and something you can just sit back and just kind of remember your dog for a long period of time instead of just scrolling on your phone. So once I started doing that, then it just kind of started, it's a small step for any small business, but it just accumulates and builds up and snowballs. And right now it's doing great, and I'm having a great time doing it.
Well, great. That's another perfect example as a job created out of the pandemic, so it's kind of like me. I was working remote as well. And, I was working for companies, and then once the pandemic was over, I was traveling for companies. I'm a marketing person myself. So, I have my own consulting business as well. So I help people like small business such as yourself do marketing, all that. But I got into doing something like this with a marketplace because I know I can work from home, work remote. But then I also get to go out and meet people and actually go out to conferences and expos and things like that. So yeah, so I'm very excited to have you on. So you said that the name of the company is Dogs in Frame. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, dogsinframes.com.
Okay.
It's basically just the putting dogs into frames again, putting it on the wall. That's the number one objective in the future prospect. But right now, it's like whatever people really want. If they want to keep it digital, then absolutely, you could buy it digital. My website offers frames, canvases, prints, any type of memorabilia, Thanksgiving, greeting cards, anything along those lines that kind of just make you feel comfortable with the process, but also whenever you want to present your dog in any way, shape, or form, I try to offer that as well.
That's awesome. So I know you got a niche there with the dogs, but have you thought about like pets in general, like cats and gerbils and hamsters and all that other type of stuff too?
Absolutely, yeah. Like there's no Dogs in Frames it was hard to, like, when you live in Denver or you live in Ohio, it's like, yeah, there's many different types of animals out there. But during the time period, as a studio photographer, at the time I was like, you know what, I can communicate with dogs. I have dogs. I kind of understand them. So it started off with that process. But honestly, there's no turning down an animal. Like if you have a lizard, a gerbil, anything along those lines, as long as you know how they are and you can kind of, the person can kind of help me, like, understand how a horse works, whatever, then yeah, absolutely. I love animals without I've been a vegan for 12 years. So like animals to me is a very important aspect of life. So my goal is to help any and all animals, any activism work I can do. I do rescue work as well. I go to rescue or shelter houses and try to take pictures of the animals so they can get adopted better. Sometimes when it comes to the photos, they look sad, and there's things in their eyes, and it's kind of not the best image quality that you have for your future pet. So I go in there and I take studio quality photos and try to help them get adopted. So yeah, no animals off limits.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great to hear. Well, cool. Yeah. So, what I want to do is talk to you a little bit about now with All Pet Spot. So it's great to hear so much about your business. What I'm looking for now from you is as you know, we've mentioned it several times now, this is a brand new site, April 15th. I'm just a little over a month old with this one. So I do appreciate you taking the time to get on it and then, checking me out. So anything that you can do out there to let people know about the site is always helpful. But I have a couple questions here that I want to talk to you about. So I guess the first question I'll ask is, can you kind of walk me through the experience you went through when you were signing up for All Pets, and what all went into it whenever you were signing up for it?
Yeah. So when I first entered the website, the first thing when I decided to start a profile, start a page, you contacted me. You kind of walked me through the whole process, let you know, like, you're there with me. Just let you know, like, hey, I'm a real person. I'm not someone trying to outside get your information along those lines. Yeah. And like there's certain things that I look for in websites, the legitimacy down at the bottom. You can see protection by, or there's a lock screen to it. And I did a couple of different looked on the line and saw, Yahoo, and I saw that like Fox, like you were reaching out to them and building a brand itself. So it allowed me to really understand, this is a brand new business, and all brand new businesses kind of start off their own different way.
Okay.
So when I got onto the site, it allowed me to really understand like the process, especially when you go to how All Pets Spot works. It allows you kind of just breaks down exactly what you offer and exactly how the system works. And what really got me too, and you mentioned it before, was definitely the background check and the identification check. It at first it was like, whoa, why are you asking me all these questions? But then I realized I was like, the goal is for everybody to feel safe. And there's a lot of work that requires someone to go into someone's house and
Mm-hmm.
also letting someone else come to their house. So like it's kind of ideal to have such a security process to it, background check, identification check. So that really made me feel, after feeling kind of eerie and awkward with it, it actually like kind of relief setting that, there's a connection with Stripe account, which obviously they're a well-known brand or well-known business that handles transactions. So it allowed me to really feel secure with it. And it just allowed me to do my own thing. It wasn't a monitored site where like you have to do this, you have to do that. It's like, here's your listing, here's a free listing, advertise yourself. If you get and hopefully you get a listing chosen and someone chooses you, you get a small profit, which is understandable because it's basically any other social media site where, you're getting business off of, or we're getting business off of the site. So, but other than that, yeah, it's a very simple process. It doesn't take a tech genius or anything along those lines to really create an account and kind of express yourself. So it definitely felt like it was the best move especially me living in Colorado Springs for such a short period of time. It allows me to try to build a clientele that way.
Well, that's great. Yeah, that's great. I'm glad to hear everything on there. Yeah, that's one of the main things too, is always talking about, terms and conditions and, privacy policy and all that good stuff out there. But yeah, like I try to put as much information on here about how it works, how the most important part is the security, like you already mentioned. So, I created this video too to try to help explain a little bit about what it is, what it's all about. And the great thing about this too is me being the sole person doing this. I'm doing this all on my own money, bootstrapped. I am the person getting everything out there. I don't have any employees. Every once in a while, my daughter will help me a little bit, but she doesn't do too much. The great thing about this is if anybody has any suggestions, or hey, can you put this as a category, or can you make this, or something of that nature, I'm the guy they talk to. So I'm the one that's putting
Right.
it out there. So anything that you would like. So let's show them a little bit about your listing here. So you said you're here in Colorado. So I'm just going to go here. The site is, location search based. So I can just go in and type Colorado. If I want to narrow it down to Colorado Springs, I can do that too. I can just say, hey, I want to see who's here in Colorado Springs. So when I click on that, it's all based on what you as the vendor, we'll call you as vendor or supplier, the business, it's all what you put into your profile whenever you're setting this up. So here I can see the studio mini sessions. So this is Shawn V. So this is your stuff. And actually here's the pet sitter. This is actually my daughter, Taylin. She's the very first person on here. She was my guinea pig. She's the reason why I thought about this idea. So she's the first one on here. She actually got her first booking this past weekend through the site. So I was really excited about that. So, but we're checking out yours. I think I was telling you before we got on this call here about some of these pictures you have on here are so cool. I mean, you can see here when you click on it, I can just go through and say, okay, look, his price is 40 minutes at $300. All right, that's cool. That includes and this is the information you put in here. Great thing about this too is you can go and update this anytime you want to as a vendor. You could change it. You can add other sessions if you wanted to. I'm not sure if you know that either. You can actually create other listings as well to say, hey, this one's my 40-minute one at 300, but I also have a 2-hour one at whatever price. So you can do it any way you want to. So just looking through this is what I really like about this too, is how you can just go through and put your actual pictures in here and you do all this yourself. That's a great thing about it. So when people are listening, that's such a funny picture. So I take it you put peanut butter on there, right? That's how you're getting this picture.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
Well, that dog's blind, so that dog needs peanut butter. He needs some type of sense.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. I just thought he had his eyes closed. That's
Nope, there's
cool.
no eyes there.
Oh, wow. I didn't even notice that. I just thought he closed his eyes. So
Nope.
yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, and this is what you're talking about, how you put them in the frame so people can hang them up on their walls. So yeah, I think that one's cool. I'm trying to find that one. I don't know if it's on here or if it was on your website. Is the one with the cookie on here?
It should be. I kind of updated like you said, but I may or may not have kept it.
That's so funny.
That's my dog. That's my dog. The one
That's
before.
your dog?
Yeah, the one before. That's my dog, Nolan.
This one right here?
No, that one actually looks very similar to the same dog. It's a different
this
dog.
one.
Yeah, the one in the pink background. That's my dog. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, he almost looks just like this one.
Yep, two different dogs.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I was trying to find out. I'm not sure if you took it off of here, but there was that I think it's on your website though too. I saw it where you have that picture where you threw the cookie or something and it was like midair or something. But
yeah.
anyways, it was a cool picture to see. But yeah, that's what I really was trying to do, is design this so to make it where people could say, all right, I have availability. So, and I'm pretty sure you keep the calendar updated. That's the cool thing about being on here. And I know it's another added little thing that you have to do every once in a while, is to update your calendar on here. But the cool thing about it too is you can communicate directly with the people who are trying to book you. So if somebody came on here like for May 30th and said, hey, I want you to come out between 10 and 11 and I want to request a book. If for some reason you're not available that time, that's when you can communicate through the site with them. And I know you probably haven't gotten to that point yet. I don't know if anybody's tried to talk to you yet through the site or not. But that's the great thing about it. You're like, oh yeah, I see you booked it, but I just had something come up, but I have this date available. And then you can start that communication process. But if you are available, they just click request a book and boom, you guys are transacting. So
Right.
that's my goal behind this whole thing, is to try to make it simple for you and for the customer that's booking you. So I've also got some categories here that you check off whenever you are signing up, if I remember right. So, if you're a pet care provider, such as a walker, a sitter, if you want to do waste removal, or what your services are. And this is the part I was talking about, that if there's something else that you or somebody else who wants to sign up on the site does, let me know. Like, for example, I just got pet insurance on the other day. So she's on there now and she does pet insurance. But if there was something else that I'm not familiar with, tell me about it and I'll put it on for you. It takes me literally 3 seconds if I'm sitting in front of my computer. Well, that's probably a little lame. Probably like 15 seconds sitting in front of my computer to add a category real quick to here. So how was the process with you? Like, for example, you already talked a little bit about the sign up process. You got your listing on there. And then I know we talked a lot about the safety and security. So what was that like whenever I emailed you and said, hey, I want to try to keep this site safe for both customers and for the businesses that are listing on here? Here is the verification code. And I use the global company called Authenticate, and they are national. They do a lot of government authentication and stuff. So it is a very professional company. So what was your thought process whenever that text or that email came through to you to actually do the ID verification and background check?
Yeah, so I mean, I knew it was coming just because obviously I like to read the fine print and the fine lines and how everything works. So when when you reached out to me saying, hey, just let you know, you still have to still have to go to the process of the identity verification and also the background check. I literally looked up Authenticate. I was like making sure everything was legit, and it was. I mean, you have professional attachments when it comes to like Stripe and Authenticate. So yeah, it just relieved a lot of worries, and it allowed, obviously they've worked with things like Equifax and Shopify, things along those lines too. So yeah, it just helped allow myself to feel more secure, and especially like I would want my customers or my clients to feel the same way too. So you don't want to walk into someone's house or have an address without any like making sure they're legit and they're a safe business to deal with. So it definitely gave me the ability to really understand and allowed me to just process it and just like I don't have to worry about emails coming my way about identity theft or along those lines. So it really did help.
Yeah, I mean that's the goal. So you hit it right on the head. There is, you want to make sure the people that are booking you, you're safe and secure, and more importantly for you too. Like if you have people, if you're doing in studio, they're coming, maybe you have your studio in your house or whatever, you want to make sure that people are safe as well. So the goal is to make sure that everybody's that's becoming part of this is actually going through the Authenticate process. So, and I know it can be a little nerve wracking because you're like, why am I taking a picture of my ID? Basically what it's doing is looking at your government issued ID and then then you take a selfie picture, and it matches the pictures to make sure that you are who you say you are. And that's the whole goal behind it. So, and then when it does the background check, all it does for me, it just says either yes or no if they have a criminal record or not.
Right.
I can't see any of the criminal records because that's all locked down, but it just says yes or no. So if it says no, then I'm like, all right, you shows that you might have something. What was this about? If they wanted to communicate with me.
Right.
So far I have a couple people who have wanted to do a listing on here, but they haven't gotten back to me with the ID verification background check. So right now their listing's pending. And I'm like, okay, I keep reaching out to them. I said, hey, I was on Fox 21 News on this past Tuesday plus the last Tuesday. So I've been on there twice talking about it. I was on KKTV 11 News a couple weeks back. So I'm promoting this site. So people are starting to hear about it, get to it. I don't understand why some people who have pending listings out there don't want to do the ID verification. But then again, maybe that's a good thing. So
right.
That's what's preventing them from getting on the site. So thanks for that piece of information. So I know we've already been talking for like 19 minutes already. It's hard to believe how fast it goes. So I don't want to take up too much more of your time, Shawn. In closing, just overall, I mean, what do you think about? I mean, you already talked about the site and everything. You talked about your business and everything. I guess one of the main things I want to do is what do you what would you like to see going forward with specifically All Pets? Because not only are you you're not just a customer on the site to me, you're now a partner with me, and I'm always trying to get feedback from my partners. What would you like to see more of, or ways for me to get it out there for promotion? Because my job now as a marketing is to promote and market the site as much as possible, so hopefully you get more business.
Yeah, absolutely. And what you're doing right now with going, on television and going to news channels and marketing that way, that's going to be a huge, impact. And, like I kind of what I do too, I'll go to farmers markets. Like there's one coming up in Denver. It's pet exclusive, pet expo only, so those are awesome opportunities too. But like also just like having the ability to maybe connect with other pet brands that obviously aren't competition based, but local brands that can, like if people wanted to buy a leash or anything like pet supplies itself. Like I know you do have a specific listing for that, but yeah, I'm excited. The reason why I did decided to join, the best thing is because it is a small business, it's a brand new business. You're not lost in the mix of a bunch of people, and you're trying to outweigh someone else, trying to outbeat someone else. It allows you to grow with a business itself. When a small business is new and a small business is new and they grow together, you kind of have the ability to feel secure with it. So my thing about it is just keep doing what you're doing. I personally like more personalized process of the listing.
Mm-hmm.
So in my case, like when it comes to pricing and things along those lines, where for some reason I don't know if I see other people do it, but I can't. I want to, like when you click on it, I want the information to be on the listing itself. But
Mm-hmm.
you just more options, I guess you'd say, just like
Yeah,
more personalized when it comes to listings.
sure.
If you don't want to put something, you shouldn't have to necessarily. But in some cases, if you don't have something, it'll be like you can't push the save change button.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think when the time comes and it just starts growing more and more, I think you will start more personalizing and more options and more just the ability to put out what the business exactly is
Yeah.
without having any type of limitations or boundaries. But yeah, like it's just like you said, it's one of those things where it takes someone else to log on to realize, oh yeah, let's do that, or I need that, or I got to add
Yeah.
that listing, So kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah, that's great. That's great advice. And and as I build this up even more, I'm going to take all that in consideration and try to do what we can to make it easier and better. And a lot of it too is just onboarding process with the customer, saying, "Hey, this is how you do what you're trying to do." Like for example, here your listing says Studio Mini Session. I would actually, my advice to you, and then of course to other people out there, is to put like maybe the name of the business right here, like Pet Dogs and Frames. This is our Studio Mini Session. Like for example, here she doesn't really have a business; she just has herself as the pet care provider. So one thing too, I really wanted to show here, since you're on here, I only have 4 people on here right now. These ones have all passed background checks or at least filled it out and passed it. So, but what's really cool too, as I grow this thing, is you can just zoom in here on the map and you can start seeing exactly where everybody is. And then the little tags are hovering over. So as I zoom in closer and closer to Colorado, of course I got to get in really close there. You can see now, looking at where we are in Colorado, oh, you're up here, or this person's up here, and you're here, and this person's here. So it's really cool because I can click on this, like, all right, what is this square? And I click on it, like, oh, that's furry paws care. Oh, okay, that's this person. So the goal behind this is just to make it really easy for people, especially when as it grows further out in Colorado, because pretty sure if you're up in Denver, you don't want to call this person and see if they want a pet sit. I mean, I guess you could, but whatever. So
Right.
one thing too that I wanted to mention that I'm not sure if you know about or if any of our watchers or viewers know about is it'll actually have a review section as well. And the reviews are based on transactions. So if somebody booked your services and loved what they did, 2 days after the booking, they will actually get an email saying, "Hey, how was your service?" or whatever. And they can actually go through and write a review. And you, as the business owner, can do the same for the customer. So that way people can say, all right, this person, this person was great to work with. So if that person contacts somebody else, they can see the review that you left for them. So that'll all show up under your profile here at the bottom of your listing. So it'll actually show here reviews from customers and reviews as a customer. So it's a really cool way to do that, because I'm kind of hesitant on reviews because most of the time people who do reviews are the ones that want to be negative about everything because they had a bad experience. Great thing about it is I can actually see the reviews and monitor them a little bit. So if somebody's
Awesome.
being like nasty or inappropriate, we can get that changed. But yeah, so it worked out really well. As I mentioned, I was so excited. My daughter got her first booking. She actually got the email sent to her and the person who booked her. So this person DM was able to write a quick little review about her and give her 5 stars. And I don't think Taylor wrote something back about her, or maybe she did. Let's see if she did. No, I don't think she did as a customer. So anyways, though, it shows her review. So people, it's another little piece that people can add on to this where, yeah, it makes it a little bit more personal, like you said. And that's what we're
Right.
trying to put on. So yeah, well, again, I want to thank you, Shawn. I really do appreciate this. I didn't expect this to go this long, but man, we have good conversation, and you really helped out with having me get a few new ideas that I can do with the site, and just help promote it out there. And yeah, just again, thank you for being on the site. I really do appreciate it. So once again, everybody, this is Shawn Valentine. He's with dogsinframes.com. Check him out. See what he's got. You can book his services directly through allpetspot.com, and we'll go from there.
Great.
Yeah, thanks again, Shawn.
Thank you.
Thanks everybody for watching.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the All Pet Spot Spotlight podcast, where we've had the pleasure of chatting with pet care providers, pet business owners, and pet parents about their experiences with allpetspot.com. We hope you enjoyed the stories, insights, and tips shared by our amazing guests. Stay connected with us for more heartwarming tales and valuable advice. Until next time, keep celebrating the special bond you share with your pets. And remember, allpetspot.com is here to support you every step of the way. Goodbye for now, and take care.